we are live on TikTok, and we are now getting into the whole entire UFC show here. So the first fight you guys wanted to talk about here was Shamil Gaziev versus Martin Buday. Jackson really likes this fight. Tell us what exactly you like about it.
So the reason I like this fight is because I'm on the Gaziev side of things, which is obviously the value play on Prediction Strike. Boudet is just like a classic UFC pick. He's a vet and is someone I like normally favor in fights, but I think this is a good opportunity for some value here with Gaziev, who's 11-0. He's a Dagestani that's like a really powerful striker, surprisingly, and he applies pressure and walks forward on you and has a little bit of wrestling going for him. His takedown defense isn't the best, which is kind of a concern, but he's very tough and very dangerous. And I just love the value here. He doesn't quit, and he can get later finishes after getting beaten up. His chin is really good. I think Shamil can get it done.
It's
Right.
funny. I think all the Dagestani dudes have a different flag next to them. This dude has Bahrain for whatever
Yeah.
reason. Hamzat has had like 4 different flags next to his name. Khabib and Islam both just rock the Russian flag, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird one, yeah. But yeah, if you're looking for some value, go for Gaziev here.
All right. So Jackson really likes Gaziev. We're going to now take it over to Lucas Almeida versus Andre Fili. Tell us exactly how we should be going about this fight, just in general or from a prediction strike perspective.
So what's the price on Lucas?
Lucas is sitting at
here.
84 cents.
Yeah, so for me, this is another good value play on Prediction Strike. Lucas is mostly a striker. His takedown defense is about 40%, and that's pretty much his biggest weakness. And I would say Feely is generally more talented and more well-rounded as a fighter. He's pretty much better everywhere except for raw power, which I think Almeida has over him. My problem is, like, Feely is a great wrestler, but he doesn't really apply his wrestling skills too much. And if I knew for a fact that Feely was going to wrestle Almeida, I would probably be on Feely's side. Um, I have a few questions about Feely's chin too, and I just don't think he's going to pick the right path to victory in terms of the wrestling. Like, Lucas Almeida is going to want to stand up and strike anyways, and Feely's probably going to accept that. So I think this is a good matchup here for Almeida, as long as Feely doesn't really change up what he's been doing in his last few fights and sticking to striking. So yeah, I got Lucas here, and I think it's a great value play on PS. What about you, Grant?
Yeah, I'll lean with you. I'm not super familiar with either of these fighters. I think your reasoning makes sense. I believe we've covered Feely once before. But yeah, he's coming off of a loss, kind of on a bit of a downward trend. 2 losses in his last 3. I'll take Almeida here.
Right on, right
Let's
on.
go.
So going with Almeida, taking some more value here. No questions in chat, just watching to enjoy with 6 people here. Next, we got Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. All right, how do you guys see this fight going down? Is there value on Emmett? Is there value on Bryce Mitchell? What's going on?
I'm
What's
curious
the
what their prices are. Yeah.
yeah.
In terms of these 2 guys as fighters, both of their last losses, I believe, are to Ilya Taporia, which is interesting. We had one of those a couple weeks ago as well with kind of a rubber match where they both lost to the same guy. Taporia, obviously a very good fighter. Before that, Emmett lost to Yair in that, I guess it was the belt, right? Because then Volk was going up. And then Yair obviously lost that belt. But Josh Emmett was kind of given his chance there, has lost 2 straight, kind of on that downward trend. Feels like Bryce has a lot more potential to move up in the future. I mean, Emmett's 38 years old, Mitchell only 29. So while I think that Emmett could totally win this fight, I think Bryce is the better value here. Only 1 loss in his career. I think if he had come away from that Tapuria fight with a win, his the outlook on his career would be looking a lot different, and he'd be flying up those rankings. So give me Mitchell in this one, probably by decision of some sort.
Yeah, Emmett was supposed to fight Giga Chikadze, which would
Mhm.
have been primarily like a standing up striking fight. And they gave him Bryce Mitchell instead, who's going to be basically applying the pressure with only takedowns the entire fight. Um, Emmett is on a 2-fight skid. Yeah, like you said, Grant. Um, and Bryce Mitchell, while he doesn't have any striking capabilities really, he has good scrambles and good control and is just like nasty with the takedowns and averages 3 a fight. He has great top control, which is why it's 3 a fight. He would be averaging more if opponents were able to get up off him. Um, I think it's going to be Bryce Mitchell as well here, and I think he's going to be able to telegraph the big strikes from Emmett and get inside pretty comfortably.
Right on, right on.
It's
So
good
it's going to
logic.
be Bryce as well here. Seems like you guys are on the same page. Next, we got Ian Gary versus Vicente Luque. Let me know exactly how you guys think this one is going to go down. It seems like a pretty fun card. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, this one is super entertaining. I think it could. I mean, I think it'll go Ian Gary's way, but I'm hoping Luque can pull off something to keep this one entertaining. He's obviously a lot more experienced in the sport. He's fought everyone from Bilal Muhammad to Leon Edwards to even Jalen Turner or Stephen Thompson, Tyron Woodley, all of these guys. Definitely the more experienced fighter. Ian, obviously a hot prospect now. His name's being talked about for a variety of different reasons, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I think he probably is the future, like his name would say. He's definitely gotten a little bit confident as of late, and I think the narrative on him is kind of a negative one. He can play kind of that heel role if he keeps winning. He's gonna keep getting big fights. Everybody's gonna want to be able to knock this kid down a peg. So I think the sky's the limit still here for him, and I got him in this one pretty dominantly.
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable. I don't know about, I mean, it sounds like you are, Grant. Like I feel comfortable removing the internet drama that's like surrounding Ian right now, and I feel like if anything that's going to make him more fired up probably for the fight. But he this is kind of his Gary's truly first big ranked fight. Luque is pretty good everywhere. Is generally a striker. He Gary's hittable, but he's like such an accurate striker and has such good footwork that I think it makes up for it. Yeah, I mean, I got Gary here. I think he's the clear pick, honestly. And I think the only reason there's any doubt is because of all the internet drama surrounding it.
Fair enough. So pretty
Yeah,
heavily to Ian
we'll see
Gary.
what happens at the press conference. I don't expect Luque to really spend too much time talking about the whole situation and everything. I think there's probably fights in the future where he's going to have to defend himself. Like if we see Colby win this fight and then we see a potential Gary Colby title fight in like 2 years, he's going to be in a world of pain trying to defend himself from some of these things. But this fight feels like he's going to be able to kind of avoid those things and just be locked in on the fight itself, which is nice.
I agree.
Right on. So that's how that one's kind of decided there. Click the wrong button. But Ian Gary seems to be the decision. Next, we got an entertainment show, in that of Tony Ferguson versus Patty the Batty Pimblett. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say. I'll just let you guys take this one away here.
You don't got a pick for this one, Wells?
I don't really
I feel
understand.
like Patty would be your boy.
I just don't understand like how he's like supposed to win that dramatically. Like, is Tony Ferguson really that bad?
He's lost 6 in a row.
I know he's lost a lot, but I've also like heard that like Patty supposedly sucks too.
Yeah, he's not great.
He's
I mean, I don't
unproven.
think he's the list
don't know
of
if he
dudes that Tony
sucks.
Ferguson has lost to are also hilarious. His last 6 fights, he's lost to Gaethje, Oliveira, Dariush, Michael Chandler. Like he's lost to some very good fighters. But I mean, I think if Patty loses this one, his career is over. Like it's such a weird.
He does have Goggins on his side now, Tony Ferguson.
Oh yeah, the first person to ever pass through the Goggins training or something.
Bro, that's crazy though. Like,
It's funny because Tony Ferguson is like already crazy. I don't think Goggins was the influence he needed to win this fight.
No.
But his last win, yeah, Ferguson's last win was over Cowboy Cerrone in 2019, and it was an eye poke. He has had a legendary career, but he is an old guy and he's beat up, and Patty should take this comfortably.
I think if Tony Ferguson wins this, it could be both of these guys' last fight. So, I don't know. I think Tony Ferguson will probably retire after this one. I would expect Patty to get it done, but who knows? I mean, he's looked very sketchy at times in some of the layups they've given him. I know many people thought his fight against Jared Gordon, just like almost exactly a year ago, felt a little rigged and seemed like he lost that one. Yeah, I mean, it feels like the promotion is really trying to get behind him and make him as popular as possible, and they've kind of realized that he's not as talented as maybe they first thought, and so they're kind of giving him these layups, and he's not passed with 2 flying colors, but hopefully he can in this test. So, I mean, I still have Patty, but I don't love him as like a long-term investment or anything like that.
Hey, he hasn't gotten fraud checked yet, so you got to give him a little bit of credit while it lasts. I feel like
True.
The eye test sometimes checks out with him. Like, he's a pretty smooth grappler.
For sure. But that last fight, I thought he lost.
That was a questionable win. Jared Gordon basically just like they got the same amount of like sig strikes, and Jared Gordon got more takedowns. I don't really know what was up with that, but
right on.
Patty the Patty.
Next, we got an actual fighter, and that of Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Thompson. Tell me who you guys like in this particular fight, since this one should be a little bit more, well, probably not more entertaining, because that probably will be the most entertaining fight of the night.
I mean, funny enough, this is honestly like kind of similar vibes to the tone, except Shavkat is obviously like a lot more proven than Patty. Yeah, but it's like another 40-year-old versus a younger guy here. Shavkat's undefeated with 17 stoppages. Thompson's 3-2 in his last 5. Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson, he has a karate style striking, and he's pretty proficient in that field. His takedown D is kind of questionable, but he obviously has a crazy resume, including the likes of Luque and Masvidal. Shavkat's obviously a great prospect. Yeah. He never gasses, never slows down. He's obviously never fought to a decision, so that's kind of interesting, something to keep in the back of your mind. Like, what does he look like towards the end of a 3-round fight? But he has solid wrestling and is active on the ground. I think Shavkat is going to be better, faster, just more explosive, and the age is going to show here.
Interesting.
I would expect Shavkat to cruise here. I think Thompson's only chance is if he keeps it standing the entire time. I mean, he's still an expert striker, and who knows, he could land something and things could go awry quickly. But I think Shavkat's proven he can kind of hold the pace of fights and kind of let them come to him. And I mean, he's ended his last 5 with a submission. I see this one ending in the exact same fashion, but I do think it could be entertaining. I think if Thompson lands a couple clean strikes at the beginning, it could make things a little bit dicey, and then we could see Shavkat kind of have to battle. It's definitely the most talented striker that he's fought before, so who knows? But I'm not too hopeful for Wonder Boy's chances.
So Grant says down with Sir Wonder Boy. So does Jackson. It makes a lot of sense. I'm not particularly surprised. Off to the next fight. Alexandre versus Brandon Royval is the fight that we have here. Let me know how you guys see this one going down.
Yeah, this is a rematch for the belt, as we know. Royval's 3-2 in his last fight and is coming off a 3-fight win streak after their last battle, which he suffered a submission loss to Pantoja. And Pantoja applies pressure with good grappling and wrestling. His striking is pretty good too, and he's very durable. And he has some weaknesses in the wrestling department, but that's pretty much it. Royval is a pressure guy himself and is constantly looking for finishes. He sometimes chases submissions, which could come back to bite him against Pantoja. I personally think it probably will. Um, I think it's kind of a weird decision to have this rematch, honestly. Like, Pantoja battled to become the champion and worked his way up for the belt, and they're putting him up against someone he already beat. It's kind of weird. But I think Pantoja should honestly be a wider favorite, and it should probably just be almost the exact same result as the first fight.
Kind of a weird rematch, but at the same time, I'm so fucking sick of seeing Brandon Moreno. So I'm more than happy to see a different fight as a title fight in this division. Every fight, it seems like, in this division. I mean, we had like 4 Figueiredo Moreno fights. We had Moreno versus Pantoja, which is how he finally lost the belt. But yeah, I'm just glad to see some fresh faces. This division is always a fun one with just how fast paced everything is, and it's nice to see some new guys getting a chance for a co-main event here in a title fight, which I think should be an entertaining one. Yeah, I mean, I feel like me and you have lined up most of the time. So far, I'm gonna take Royval here just to be a little different. I agree with him kind of going a little too far to chase knockouts or finishes. But I'm going to say in this one, he is successful in doing so. And we see a finish on his behalf. So I will take Royval here, but would not be surprised either way, obviously.
Right on. And now on to the main event here. We have Colby Covington taking on Leon Edwards. So let me know exactly how you guys see this one going down. Seems like a pretty big fight.
Yeah, Colby is 3-2 in his last 5 fights, and 2 of those are losses to Kamaru Usman. And he's going up against Leon Edwards, who's a very solid striker, well-rounded striker, with decent wrestling, good body kicks. He averages just 1 takedown per fight and has actually been able to take down some good fighters. He's coming off his 2nd win in a row versus Kamaru Usman. Colby is he's determined to wrestle, and he's very, very good at striking as well. He switches off kind of between striking and shooting takedowns, which is something you always love to see in a fighter. He had versus Dos Anjos, he had 100 significant strikes and 3 takedowns, for example. Has nonstop pace. Leon has been improving, I would say, at a faster rate than Colby. He's been getting better and better. Colby hasn't fought in a while. I think it's been about 1.5 years. And yeah. I don't know if you guys saw that that lawsuit between him and Masvidal, where he claimed he had brain damage between that. But you saw that, Grant?
Yeah.
So
who knows whether that's true or not, but yeah.
Yeah. But that's definitely something to think about. Leon's younger, but he's faster probably, but I'm taking Colby. I just think Colby can take minutes away from him and can be more technical here and is going to really want it and probably, try to call out someone crazy after this and keep his career going while he can at 35. So I think Colby wants the belt, and he's going to grind it off of Leon Edwards at the end of the day. But that is kind of a controversial pick. I do believe that's like the odds don't suggest that. But
yeah, I think they're pretty narrow, but I think that Leon is probably a slight favorite in this one. One thing with the last fight that I forgot to mention, easily the best nickname matchup of the card. It's the Cannibal taking on the Raw Dog.
Yo, what?
The Raw Dog is his name. Brandon Raw Dog Royval.
That is crazy. That is one of the wildest names I think I've ever heard for.
Yeah.
Okay.
In this fight, I think Colby has been so geared up for a title fight that has not involved Usman. It felt like Usman was kind of the boogeyman for him, and he would step in there and he would talk a big game and all that. But I think in his heart he knew that it was a bad matchup for him because of Usman's proficiency in takedown defense and keeping those fights standing. I think Colby's been looking forward to a chance like this. He hasn't really fought anyone. He's been a little bit inactive, which is kind of the only reason I'm a little bit hesitant to go all in on Colby here. But you can see how much this fight means to him. It seems like the best chance he's ever going to have at this belt. He's waited out after a fight against Masvidal, and he hasn't fought anyone. I'm surprised they really just went in and gave him exactly what he wanted here. It doesn't seem like he is probably the most deserving since he's been a little bit inactive, but clearly a big personality and deserving of a title fight, I guess, against someone not named Kamaru Usman. So I think he's probably just been so geared up for this one and has been dreaming about this one for a long time, and I don't think he lets the opportunity slip.
Right on.
I like it.
All right. Well, I think that's all we really have here then on these particular fighters. So that was their thoughts on exactly how the fights are going to go down. We're about to head into NBA prep here. So thank you guys for stopping by for our thoughts on UFC. Any plugs from Jackson or Grant on anything here?
I would definitely love to plug UFC 296 on PredictionStrike. Look out for a very special promotion coming up in the next few days, or several promotions geared towards the UFC if you're watching this. So go ahead and turn on your post notifications.
Right on. All right. But now we're going to go hop into NBA Live. Check out the playback of this on YouTube. Peace.